So why do earthquakes happen from a spiritual perspective? What is an earthquake? What is really happening in an earthquake in the context that we're all within a system? Okay, so within that system, what is the earthquake? When you look at the Kalachakra and the Kalachakra mandala, you see the tunnels, right? And the cubes of information that travel in the tunnels, right? The beings that travel in the tunnels in the Kalachakra. But if you look, you have the Kalachakra walls as well, right? And you have doorways that are built into the walls that are color coded to specific colors of enlightened beings, right? So if you're coded to a certain color, you can reside within a certain area or living area within one of the tunnels, right, of the Kalachakra, right? And as you take a tunnel that you're coded to, you have a residence area, and out of the structure that you build into and dig into, right? Remember, we dig into the earth and everything we take out of the earth for our life and all that. As you dig into the structure of the Kalachakra, okay, well, what happens at that point? Okay, you dig into the structure of the Kalachakra, but the thing is, there's different doorways, right, at different locations along the tunnel. So when you visualize going inside one doorway, right, and then in there you have everything that's been all the life that in the place of residence, the place where you can actually reside, a dwelling, right, within the Kalachakra, and a place where you can develop as well, right? And you can basically use the structure of the Kalachakra to also multiply life, to create life. And as the structure of the Kalachakra becomes the almost like the material world, as you can see here, in that sense, as you can see it that way, and everything physical that's all around us and within us, the structure and everything that's physical, okay, that is basically utilized to build into, right, to basically and to create new life. Okay, so you have the different developments, right? And different doorways are coded to different trees or Buddhas or, enlightened ones, who have their color, their flag, okay? And they can basically connect in at that point to whichever doorway that they're coded to. Within that doorway, that's a place of existence, a dwelling, okay? And at that point, a place of stability within the Kalachakra, where we built our own stability out of the structure of the Kalachakra, building into the structure of the Kalachakra from the tunnels of movement within it, okay? And who basically creates a new development structure or a new dwelling, a new place of life, okay, a new place of development in that sense. Well, that's the system administrator, which is coded to the black color in the Kalachakra. When you look at the Kalachakra mandala, you have the black color on one of the doorways out of the tunnel, okay, coded to that color. Okay, and you have many different visualizations of the Kalachakra, different levels of system use as well. I'm talking to one in specific here. Okay, so what do you have why is an earthquake happening? Okay, essentially what you have is you have different situations. You have essentially different development levels, okay, right? Different doorways that are coded, right? And within those doorways, visualize another tunnel that is basically created into the structure of the Kalachakra, into the structure of the walls, into the physical structure. Okay, and at that point, what you can do is basically visualize little houses built on the structure in that way, in that sense, a little bit. Okay, and then and shops and all these different things. Okay, and stops. Okay, and places of residence and all these things, and then building into the structure, building into the sides of that tunnel, right? To all the abilities, deeper and deeper and deeper, as development is more is taken out and basically dug out of the structure of the Kalachakra, essentially, and used for life and used for the story of life. Okay, so look at it a little bit like this way. We dig into a mine to pull out materials, right, that we use to create smartphones or whatever. Okay, so at that point, that's a little bit the process in that sense. Okay, but what happens is you have you have the main tunnel, and then you have a color coded doorway there, a color coded doorway there, right? And you're going into one, and there's residences and stuff happening here, and stuff happening in that tunnel, and stuff happening in that tunnel. But they start digging, right? They start digging. They start digging and developing, right? Two doorways that are side by side. And eventually they dig to the point where they go to the next one, where they dig into the next one beside, or they go through all the structure, and eventually they connect those two different doorways, right? So what happens is it's a thinning of the structure, a thinning of the structure. Eventually, if you the more you dig in and take out of the structure, there's a thinning of the structure. Okay, and what is a thinning of the structure? It's a creation of instability. Okay, so what that does is it creates instability. So, for example, if you're going to go into the earth here and you're going to start doing things that create vibrations, if you're going to start digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually you're going to start causing issues into the stability. Okay, potentially. Okay, so what happens is the same concept as happens at the level of the Kalachakra, where you're digging in two doorways, right? And the people existing and developing in one doorway here are digging, and they're digging, and they basically reach, right? So there's a thinning of the distance between the different creations and the separations between those developments, essentially. So what happens is if you get to a point where there's a separation like that, where they're getting really close, what happens is the system administrator, to maintain the stability of the two different development ecosystems, okay, has to do a reorganization of the structure. Okay, so that's one of the situations can happen. So a reorganization of the structure basically means that there's going to be a recoding, there's going to be a moving of the structure, and that can also have an impact on all the life that was built on those two doorways, right, that came too close to each other. Okay, so what happens at that point, a reorganizing of all that structure of everything that's developed in that area, right, and that can take the form of an earthquake, for example. Right? It's a reorganization of the physical, of the structure into which we build our lives and on what we build our lives and stand upon and all that. Within, you can almost see it this way, wind tunnels, right? And as you know, on Earth, for example, we have wind, right? Wind. Well, in the Kalachakra, it's like that too. In one of the visualizations of the Kalachakra, you're in wind tunnels, okay? And you're navigating the tunnels, and you can get to doors that you're coded to, right? Development doors, and in those places you can rest and reside and have a residence and all these different things. Okay, so there are areas where in the Kalachakra and the main tunnels where you don't have a residence, for example. That's just a communication system in that sense, that when you navigate that. So that's one of the reasons why earthquakes happen. There's a reorganization of the structure by the one who governs the structure, right? A reorganization of the Kalachakra and of the tunneling that's created within it, and the tunneling that's created into the structure. So you can have reorganizations at the level of the main tunnels, and you can have reorganization at the level of the structure within which creation and physicality essentially is created, right? And exists in that context within the Kalachakra. So our place of residence, right? So a reorganization of the residence, of the dwelling within the Kalachakra, which is within the walls, within the structure of the main tunnels of the Kalachakra. Okay, so I hope this provides a little bit more information about why earthquakes happen. Okay, and as there is a thinning of reality, okay, that can also be accompanied by earthquakes. Thanks for listening.